Hello everyone, welcome to another pre-algebra with Professor V. So today I wanted to go ahead and look at subtraction, right? So I don't know, I can't remember if we're taught first minus or subtraction, but let's go ahead and write it, right? So we have minus, right? These are some of our vocabulary words here. We have subtraction. Oops. I'm getting used to writing on my pad. Sorry guys if it's a little sloppy. And then the big one that we use usually in algebra, right? When you get many word problems, they usually ask you for this one, the difference. So these are kind of the words you have to look out for, right? Now, let's say we have 37 minus, start off with an easier one that we don't have to borrow. So 37 minus 21, right? If we had this in the horizontal form, we're actually going to just write it like this and still line up our digits, right? According to the place value. So the ones position should line up with the ones, right? The tens with the tens. Now, this subtraction, it's a little bit easier, right? In the sense that we don't have to borrow. So we'll talk about that first. Because kind of with subtraction, the first thing you want to do is line them up. The second thing you want to do is check if any of these top numbers are bigger than the bottom, right? If they're bigger than the bottom, you're allowed to subtract, right? If the numbers up top are smaller, that's when we end up having to do this thing called borrowing. So let's go ahead and try this. So 7 minus 1 is 6. 3 minus 2 is 1. So you'll get 16 when you subtract those two numbers. Let's say it was 37 minus something like 29. So this is where it gets tricky. You have to be very careful because see, 7 is smaller than 9, right? And that's like saying, put up 7 fingers and put 9 down, right? You can't. You only have 7 fingers up, right? So what you have to usually do is get your friend, right, and borrow his fingers. And we borrow from the digit to the left, right? We're going to borrow 1 10 from you, right? So if we borrow a 10 from him, since he's already in the tens, right, he's going to go down to 2. So the tens position will go down to 2. We're subtracting 10, right? If you think of 37 minus 10, right, that would be 27. So we've lowered him down to 20, right? So don't get too tricked up. What you're essentially doing in this digit, this place value here, is just minusing by 1. And then that 1 gets passed in front of the 7. So now we have 17 over here. He's borrowing that 10. You see what I'm saying? Because it's not just 7, right? Plus 1 8. He's borrowing a whole 10 from him. So 7 became 17. But anyways, don't get too worked up on it. The best case scenario I can tell you if you really don't want to understand what's under the hood is just, minus this digit by 1 and make sure you put the 1 in front of the other number. The 1's value in this case. So 17 minus 9 is going to be what? 8, I believe. And then 2 minus 2 is just 0. So you can put the 0, but you don't really need to, right? 8 is just the answer. So, let's say, what if they did something silly to us, like, 1000 minus, 123. I'm going to do a silly number. All right, so hopefully you're already starting to see, right? 0 is smaller than 3, right? But if we borrow from the neighbor over here, what do we do, right? He doesn't have anything either. He has no value. So what we're going to do is borrow from this neighbor. Oh, he has no value. We're going to have to start borrowing all the way here at the ones position. So I like doing the ones with all the zeros like 1000 because it's a good problem, right? So when you think about it, this 1 becomes 0. We pass the 1 in front of this 10, and that becomes 10. But I gotta keep borrowing, you guys, so don't freak out, right? So I gotta borrow 1 from this 10, and it becomes a 9. And this will become a 10 now. And then I'm still not there because I needed to borrow for the ones position the whole time, right? So that'll turn into 9, and finally this one will be 10. And now if I look at everything, I'm actually set up where I could do the whole subtraction, right? All my numbers are bigger than the bottom. So 10 minus 3, 7. 9 minus 2, 7. It's pretty funny. 9 minus 1, 8. So, you got to be careful with the subtraction. If one of the other place values has a 0 and you can't borrow, you have to borrow from the next value. So I could do one more, like maybe 307, let's do, minus something like 19. So 7's smaller than 9, right? But I can't borrow from the 0, you guys, right? The 0 has nothing to give, so I must start borrowing at the 3, which will become a 2. This becomes a 10, right? We're passing 1 in front of the digit. And now I can borrow from it because it actually has value as a 10, right? So that becomes 9, and this will become 17. So 17 plus minus 9 is 8, I believe, right? 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Don't be afraid to use your fingers. 8, 2. So 288. So that's kind of it with subtraction, kind of how I went on. Oh, sorry about that. So kind of what I was talking about. The other module with the adding, right? They could also ask you guys the difference of two numbers, right? So they could say, what is the difference of, I'm just gonna do a real basic one, you guys. 9 and 7, right? Well, that's 2, right? Because it's 9 minus 7. 2. If you had 9 candies and your friend had 7, what's the difference of candies between you guys? 2, right? You have 2 more candies than your friend, so that's your difference. So always try to keep that in mind working forward with algebra, you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave me a like if you did. If you have any other problems, like I say, even up to trigonometry, definitely ask me in the comments down below. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.